Well, welcome everyone to the weekly team hangouts. This week we have Kieran with us, and he's going to do a little demo on the bridge for us. But before we get there, Kieran, can you just give us a short introduction into, some of your experience for those new community members that might not know you that well? Maybe you can tell us about, maybe what you've done before joining Dusk. What was your experience back then, and then kind of how you found Dusk and what you have been doing at Dusk for the past couple of years. I think that would be nice.
Yeah, sure. Well, firstly, like all the OGs will remember me from the beginning, more or less. I've been with Dusk now for I think 7 years. It's been something like that. So yeah, been around since the start. By my background is I'm a developer. I studied computer science. I started to get interested more in front end and application development probably around like 10 to 15 years ago. Before I was with Dusk, I was working in enterprise e-commerce. I was a part of the Oracle professional services team, which is what brought me to the Netherlands. I was working with enterprise companies on their backends and building front ends that like kind of connected with their backends via APIs. And then at some point, I became friends with Emanuela, and we discussed about me joining Dusk because there was obviously some need to do web development at Dusk, and then yeah, that's really where I started. I was mainly taking care of. I think I've touched everything web related at Dusk over the years, and obviously the web wallet and the Explorer have been two large components of that. But there's been other things and bits and pieces, the website and whatever else is needed to be done. I've kind of always been there. So yeah, that's basically where I come from and where I am.
Right. Yeah. Thanks. You basically were here from the pretty much very beginning, and you had an influence over how Dusk is, how Dusk products are perceived, because you really had had something to do in most of the front ends and a lot of the different components in Dusk. So that's really cool to hear and learn more about. Of course, I'm going to open the stage to any community members to also ask questions throughout this session if they want to. But yeah, with that in mind, Kieran, maybe we can start the demo and we can see how the bridge is looking.
Yeah, I'm assuming that everybody here is aware of the bridge and what we're working on.
Right.
Or
So
did you want to talk a little bit about?
actually, yeah, I was going to do a little introduction, but if you want, you can do it.
Yeah. No. Go ahead. You're very eloquent. I'm sure you've got a good script there.
Yeah, guys. So for those that don't know, we're currently working on the bridge from DuskDS, our layer 1 settling data availability layer, between the DuskDS and DuskEVM, which is our new kind of layer 2 EVM compatible. And we're working on a bridge to bridge native Dusk into DuskEVM and back. That's basically the short description of it. But Kieran, if you want to add anything else, feel free.
Well, I think that the benefits to using or to having this EVM integration are obviously like pretty broad. It brings us the ability to work with the Ethereum virtual machine and to settle on Dusk, whilst also having the ability to leverage smart contracts on the Ethereum platform. So I think it broadens our capabilities and our integration potential like vastly. So yeah, I think it's quite an exciting and important step for the project to get into this L2 space.
100%. Yeah, it opens up the space for pretty much plug and play possibility for any EVM compatible dApp that is out there to pretty much integrate on Dusk and bring any liquidity or users that they have much easier into the Dusk ecosystem. But also for any new developers that want to build on Dusk, any decentralized application, it's much easier for a lot of developers to use Solidity, which is becoming a standard in the space. So overall, the DuskEVM direction is a very good one for Dusk, and it's even better now that we have the bridge that so Dusk is interoperable and between the different layers.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see how it all looks into action as well. So Kieran, I'll give the stage to you.
All right, I'll just share the screen. All right, you should be able to see a wallet with also some debugging information on the side.
Nice. Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so I'll just unlock the wallet first. Just going to use a key that's already preloaded with plenty of test Dusk. All right. So you'll notice we have this new section on the menu called Bridge. This is going to enable the movement of the EVM tokens from DS and vice versa. So we refer to this internally as deposit and withdrawal. So deposit being that we're moving DuskDS tokens onto the EVM, and then withdrawal will be that we move the EVM tokens back to DS. I was going to say already right now that this is still an early stage demo. Like the user experience hasn't been implemented according to the specifications, the standards that we would normally follow, because we're still finishing things off. Essentially, a lot of the work is being focused on actually making sure that the transactions can take place and that we do get the correct movement of the tokens from the L1 to the L2 and vice versa. So there will be, that's the reason why I've got the console open on the side so that you can see a little bit more context, because the user interface in the version that we release will represent much more closely like the way that we already do things like transferring tokens, where you'll see user interface elements like a spinner and confirmation messages and so on. Another thing to note as well is that the users of the web wallet will be familiar with the synchronization process, whereby the wallet synchronizes with the latest blocks and updates the balances, I should say, and everything else. What we will do with the EVM layer is that we will essentially, once the user is connected to the Web3 wallet, such as MetaMask, we will also then refresh the balances and any pending transactions or anything like that, along with the typical synchronization of the wallet with it's basically just like the wallet synchronizes with the DS right now, but it will also automatically synchronize with the EVM. So with that said, I can now connect to MetaMask. So we're using this, it's called the Rion library, and we've integrated this into the wallet. And what this does is gives you access to many different wallets that you might have installed on your machine. But for me right now, I have MetaMask. I'm sure many of the users are also familiar with MetaMask. It's pretty old school, been around for a while. So we'll use some MetaMask. So what happens when we connect is we get a prompt to connect in MetaMask. I've got it set up on a specific account for working with the DuskEVM. So now once this is connected now, you can see that we are getting a balance from our DuskEVM obviously I've got a lot of test Dusk tokens here.
That's nice.
This corresponds with our accounts in here, so you can see that in MetaMask I also have this 1 million balance of test Dusk. Okay, and so similar interface to what users will be familiar with for the allocation of tokens, where you can switch between the shielded and unshielded. With this one, we've got the ability to switch between DuskDS and DuskEVM. So for the first transaction we'll transfer from DuskDS to the EVM. So this is a deposit that we're going to make. So we can just do like, I don't know, 6 Dusk. So now we've just done the transaction. As I mentioned earlier, the front end and the user experience for dealing with the transactions is currently like suboptimal. It's just we've just got it working how we need it to be working. But yeah, we just kick off the transaction, and I'm outputting the response into the console, so we can just see that. We get the transaction hash. Then we can come over to the Explorer, and as we would normally, just fill in the hash. And then you see, we got a deposit. And there you can see the deposit amount here. So this is the 6 Dusk plus the fee. Yeah, so that's in, and that's the deposit. So we just moved 5 of our DuskDS over to the EVM.
Right. Sorry, Kieran, one question.
And, yeah.
When you do the deposit, who pays the gas fee? I assume that's from the DuskDS account, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And there is one question in chat. Someone is asking, is that the drop-down I see in the from and to addresses?
There are no addresses in here. This is just the...
oh, sorry.
Are they referring to... Yeah, these are just the balances. So this is the balance which corresponds to the DS account in this particular wallet. So this is the unshielded balance, basically. And in this particular wallet, there is no... Yeah, in this wallet, actually, that's actually a good point, actually. I didn't think about that, but obviously the value here from the overall balance is the same as what you have in the DuskDS dropdown, because this wallet has 100% allocation to unshielded. And when it comes to making a deposit from DuskDS to EVM, you need to use your unshielded Dusk for this transaction. So you won't be able to select Dusk from the shielded balance, only from the unshielded. So that's why these two... So basically, if this account had some allocation to shielded, the available balance here would be a different number. It would be a fraction of whatever the
makes
total
sense,
balance is.
And when you click on the drop down, it shows you can choose between the DuskDS and DuskEVM, right? Okay, got it.
Yeah, so right now this will just switch. So this is basically how we're going to switch from the deposit to the withdrawal flow, which I can just demonstrate right now, to be honest with you. So now if we want to withdraw Dusk, so we say want to move that 6 Dusk back to the L1, so go back to DuskDS from the EVM, you just switch these two around. Got the 6 value still here because the UI hasn't been refreshed, and we can just bridge the funds again. Now this time triggers the MetaMask transaction because we're doing this using the EVM. We get a confirmation screen to indicate that we want to move 6 Dusk. We get the network fee popping up here, and we can just confirm this basically. So again, the UI doesn't reflect any changes have happened, but you can see that I'm output into the console here, like the transaction ID, the transaction hash. And I can go to our Explorer. Can just pop in the transaction here. And now we can see that the transaction is registered on the EVM. We get the value here, so 6 Dusk is moving. So now the thing with the withdrawal is that we have a finalization period, which will be set to a fixed number of blocks, which it currently is fixed to. In the DevNet, it's been fixed to 18 blocks, which I think is just a few minutes, basically. In reality, it will be set to a number of blocks which represents close to 1 week. So for DevNet, we get like the ability to finalize a lot quicker, but in reality, we will be waiting a lot longer on the mainnet. So this leads to the next screen, which is this icon here, which is like the history. We will most likely show all of the transactions here, but for right now, we're just showing the pending transactions, which apparently there are none. Maybe it didn't pick up yet by the withdrawal service. Be the case. Right, yeah. Here it is. Yeah. So this is one of the pending withdrawal that we just made, and you can see that the finalization is available in 11 blocks. So a bit like a stuck record, just say it again, but the UI is not resynchronizing automatically at the moment. So in order to be able to see these blocks counted down or getting closer to being able to be finalized, we have to keep going backwards and forwards. So we see like we've gone from 11 to 8 blocks now. So it's just slowly moving down to 0. And at the point when we have 0 blocks, then we will receive the finalization button here. So we'll just take a little bit longer. So yeah, at that point,
I mean, I get that the UI and UX is not necessarily finalized, or the UX is not finalized yet, but it's looking pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not polished, but we've got functionality like the ability to move from DuskDS to DuskEVM and EVM back to DuskDS is now possible in this unfinished, unpolished version of the wallet that we're looking at now.
Yeah, this is great to see. And I do have a question about the gas fee. When you do a withdrawal, is the gas fee still paid by DuskDS wallet or your DuskEVM wallet?
No, that's paid from the EVM wallet.
Okay, just wanted to double check that. Yeah. Cool. So that means now we have fully working deposits and withdrawals. And I know last time we were still doing a couple of different tests on the deposit and withdrawals. Is there maybe anything you can share with us about about the testing and how that's going? Sorry, I got sidetracked because I saw that you can actually finalize the withdrawal now, and that's cool to see.
Yeah, that's fine. So, sorry, your question was, do I have anything to elaborate on with regards to the testing that's going on?
Right.
I mean, I can tell you that I can tell you that it's the work has been. There's been some challenges involved, of course, and but we've overcome them, I think, quite well. There's with regards to like the web front end, there is we are using a smart contract in the implementation. So this is a WebAssembly. I don't want to get into too much technical language for the audience, but essentially there's been challenges to do with like encoding and decoding of information that we transfer between DuskDS and Ethereum. And a lot of the focus from us has been on making sure that this is done right and also done in a way that will allow third-party developers to use both Vesper, which is our web API interface for DuskDS, and the EVM. So we want to be able to provide also these tools that we're developing on the lower level, I'd say the libraries that we've been working on to enable this front end to finally work. We want those people or those developers out there to be able to download these libraries and also build their own applications, so that they can take advantage of the same tooling and build whatever it is they want to build with this stuff. So yeah, that's, I'd say, where a lot of the focus has been, and yeah, we went through it like kind of in a very systematic way, and I think at this point we're quite solid with the approach that we're taking.
Sweet, that sounds good. That sounds like good progress. And I remember Moana told us explained a little bit in a more technical way exactly what you mentioned now. But it's good that was that was already fixed.
I didn't see Moana's hangout, but I think she will have probably talked about serialization and deserialization of bytes and bits, which is essentially what we're also doing. So we have to package up additional extra information, which needs to be read by the Dusk virtual machine, so by Rusk. And then we likewise need to send information which can be read by the Ethereum virtual machine. So this translation between the Dusk language and the Ethereum language is where a lot of the focus has been. And we want this to be a seamless and simple process for any developer to work with, not only the developers working here at Dusk.
Right. Yeah. T- says he's ready for it, so they're definitely startups excited for that. Nice.
Yeah, great. So, well, I think the final thing we can do here is we can finalize this transaction so that we are done with it. Now, of course, the UI hasn't refreshed, but here we can see that the transaction is being fulfilled, or the promise is being fulfilled for any developers out there, and they'll know what a promise is. But we're returned with the hash, which we can now search for in the Explorer. And here we go. You get the finalized withdrawal transaction, and here it is.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice. Okay, we didn't have to wait that long this time, but I know someone was asking if we're going to get rid of the finalization period in future releases, and that is indeed the case. This is just temporary, right?
The finalization, I don't think so. I think there's actually a legal need for the finalization period, but I'm just a lowly developer. I don't know the legality part too well, but that's what I recall hearing about. I think there's a need to keep the finalization period in order for someone to challenge the legality around that. But I would ask someone like Hein to maybe follow up on that with a bit of an explainer. So it's for me, the memory of the reason for that is a little bit hazy.
Yeah, actually, we have Hein on now. There you go.
Just speaking of the devil, no, I was thrown in by Josh. Sorry, can you repeat the question again, and I can answer it properly?
Well, someone was asking about the finalization period and if we're going to get rid of that in the future, right? The waiting period.
Yeah, okay. So the finalization period has nothing to do with legality or anything. The finalization period is introduced on the optimism side for the challenging, right? So they work with a game theoretical platform, and the idea is that everything is proven to be right unless proven wrong, right? That's basically what they do. But they assume in their assumption model that people will challenge if something is wrong in the network, right? So if someone who creates the transactions, the collector of the transactions and the one that batches them, if they purposefully make a mistake, then they would be challenged, and there is a fee that people would receive. That's the normal optimism model in a nutshell. Now, this model is not exactly what we have. And the approach that we want to go for in the future is also going to be very different. We want to go for a pessimistic, optimistic approach, where every transaction from the roll-up that is being submitted to DuskDS will be challenged before it can pass our system. So it's the consensus that challenges these transactions. So in either of the cases that we have sort of situation now and the situation coming up, we do not need this challenge period, what it is normally called. We have a finalization period. We renamed it for a reason, and the reason is if something goes wrong, we want to have time to intervene, right? So the only reason that we have this period in place is to be able to intervene when we see an anomaly. For example, if something's wrong with the contract or whatever, that we have enough time to lock it down and migrate it to something new. So this is possible in our current setup. It's just a defensive mechanism. In the future, the idea is, of course, to get rid of this and to have, if we know that the contract is safe enough and we do not need this fallback, that we just prevent any sort of bad transaction coming from DuskEVM to just not pass. So that you cannot even mess up the system as is. You have, when you do a withdrawal request, there will be a state root on the L1 that will be checked, and then the L2 operator can't even defraud the system. But that's technical side detail. But
no, but that's good to know.
Thanks for that, Hein. Yes. Yeah, so I was a little bit off the mark with the legality requirement, but yeah, Hein, I think, explained it well.
No problem at all. And actually, for the legality point of view, you actually want the opposite. You want fast finality, especially for certain type of transactions, right? If you want to talk about RWA style transaction security settlement, you basically want as low as possible settlement finality, and also you don't want the reorg situation that, for example, exists in other networks where they have a probabilistic finality. We don't have that.
Right.
We do not have probabilistic finality, which means that after X amount of blocks, it's X amount of certainty that the block is final. We don't have that. We just have it's final, then it's final, it's irreversible. That's on DuskDS, and that property we basically also want to have on DuskEVM. So we're going to more tightly couple the finality of the two over time.
Right. Yeah. Legally speaking, you would need, deterministic finality, right? Which is something we already have in DuskDS. So thank you, Hein. I fear that we're going to get rid of.
I'll go back in hiding.
All right, thanks, sir. I'll bring you back up whenever we need you. Appreciate it. Kieran, someone's also asking, and you already mentioned this, but basically we're going to have transaction history enabled as well in future releases. But at the moment, it's just what you showed, right?
Yes. Sorry, was the question related to the overall transaction history, or I see the question. Will transaction history be available in upcoming release? Yeah, so there was but this is something that was raised up actually in a recent stand-up in the tech team about will we finish the transaction history. It's been a feature that's sort of been Yeah, it was promised a while ago, and it was not delivered. So the reason for that, I think, is mainly just due to the fact that there were like higher priority things to be looking at. However, as I understand it, the blocker which was preventing us from doing the transaction history has now been removed, and we are capable of doing it. So I would say that this now has been brought up again, and it's just a matter of prioritizing it in the backlog. So yeah, I would say yes, it is gonna be coming in an upcoming release. And yeah, with regards to the EVM transaction history, it should be possible for us to also show the entire history. But for right now, the endpoint which we query for the transactions from Rusk is just for the pending transactions. So for right now, it's pending, but potentially we will show the entire transaction history for any given EVM address.
Got it. Yeah. And I mean, going forward, considering that DuskEVM is the application layer where initially that's where we're going to have dApps being integrated on. Most of the people are going to use tools like MetaMask and already popular EVM wallets where you already have this functionality. But
so you can see already here in my MetaMask, there's a lot of transactions from my testing. So you can see your entire transaction history here, and in any other Web3 wallet, that'll be the case.
Yeah, that's neat. That is very neat. So I can understand that it's not a high priority to integrate the transaction history into the Dusk web wallet, but it will.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, if these things are, if the barrier to doing it is low enough, we'll definitely do it. These things should become more like a low-hanging fruit operation. Like, for example, we just changed the endpoint of where we're querying for the pending transactions, and we just query for all the transactions, including the pending ones. Then it shouldn't be there shouldn't be any blocker for us to do it, right? And if it improves the lives of the people in the community, then of course we will want to do it.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to show us on the web wallet? I think that's going through the whole flow, right?
Yeah, I think everything that we've showed here is complete. Everything else is already released on the current web wallet. So yeah, that was a demo of the deposit, the withdrawal, and the finalization period.
Superb. Thank you so much, Kieran. That was, it was my first time seeing it as well, going through the whole flow. I saw some mock-ups, but this is great to see it in action and actually working from start to finish. I don't see any more community questions. So if there's no more questions, then I guess we could also end the session here. But yeah, this was nice to see. Thank you so much, Kieran, for taking the time and showing us how it works.
Yep, you're welcome. It's my pleasure.
Of course. Okay, right. And thank you, everyone in the audience. We're going to post the recording most probably tomorrow with a summary of the session and this demo. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you, Kieran. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.